Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, I didn't see this! That's crazy! What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm going to be reacting to Game Theory Rosalina Unmasked Part 2 Super Mario Galaxy by the Game Theorists. Now, I reacted to the first episode, and it was pretty crazy. Basically, Matt, proved for the most part that Rosalina is actually Peach and Mario's child, and there was so much evidence to back it up, and I believe that, he is right. But then at the end, apparently Rosalina, her mother had died, and if that's the case, then Peach couldn't be the mother because she's alive, unless she died and came back and now is a zombie or something. So in this episode, I believe is going to clear everything up. Hopefully it does. But with that being said, the original link's in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to the Game Theorists. Without any further ado, let's begin.
So it looks like someone finally got a piece of that cake, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Blow, chicka, blow, blow.
Let's get it on.
From downtown!
But how can Peach be here and here? All shall be revealed today.
That's one way to do an intro, Matt. One way to do an intro.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that is finally concluding a two-part series. Now, if only I would do that Watch Underscore Dogs episode. Anyway, last time we used a little bit of Mario Galaxy lore and a heapin' helpin' of genetics to conclude that Rosalina has an unusually high probability of being Peach's daughter. But there were a few sticking points to that theory. In particular, that
Rosalina's mother is dead.
And Peach doesn't seem to be. There are other problems too, like the relative lack of an age difference between Peach and Rosalina. But this
We didn't even get onto that topic in the last episode.
episode will answer all those concerns and more, not only solving the mystery of Rosalina's parentage and the eternal question of Mario Jumpman Mario's multiple lives, but also completely overturning everything you thought you knew about Miyamoto's beloved franchise. If you thought Mario being a sociopath was earth-shattering, just wait till you see the end of this one. So let's start with the elephant in the room, Peach being dead. As we concluded last episode, Rosalina's mother is buried under a tree on her favorite stargazing hill. How can that possibly happen when, breathing, kidnapped by Bowser, calling for help, promise of future cake? Yep, Peach seems to be at least somewhat alive in Super Mario Galaxy. Well, that's actually the whole premise of the game. The game's ending. Do I need a spoiler alert for a Mario game ending? Like, they're always one step above congratulations. So here, spoiler alert for practically every Mario game ever. Peach gets saved and Bowser falls into lava. Say that's probably about like 87% of the games.
No, you ruined it for me, Matt. You ruined it for me.
Clearly, we are not playing these games for the epic conclusion, friends. But Galaxy is part of the 13%, sporting one of the most bizarrely cryptic endings to happen since Enslaved on the Xbox. Bowser, Mario, and Peach all get sucked into a cataclysmic black hole, and everything gets destroyed. Look at the way it decimates Bowser's
Well, you know what they say, if you gotta go out, you gotta go out with a bang. And that's what's going on here. Everything's going bang. Everything's going boom.
A bunch of baby stars then sacrifice themselves, creating something similar to the Big Bang, which brings to life a whole new galaxy. Rosalina then talks to Mario about the cycle of rebirth, how stardust from dying stars eventually reforms into a new star, and the cycle continues, but with small changes each time. It's like an astronomical version of Groundhog's Day. No two go-arounds are exactly the same. She then tells Mario that he'll see. Mario wakes up and is back in the Mushroom Kingdom, but things are a bit different. You have all the intergalactic characters from the game living on the same planet now. Mario welcomes the new galaxy, pan out, spot Peach's burial tree on the hill, roll credits. So, what happened exactly? That black hole seemed to destroy everything. Everyone is now on the same planet, and Rosalina's closing speech is vague at best. Well, her cryptic dialogue actually explains it all. Mario, Peach, Bowser, and all the rest have just been reborn into a...
Oh, okay, wait a minute. So everyone died, but everyone was rebirthed? So if she had already died, she would have been reborn, and that's how she would be alive? Still doesn't make that much sense, if that is what he's trying to get at.
New galaxy cycle. At the beginning of the game, we were playing in a galaxy that had all the characters separated out onto different planets. But in this new, remixed version of the galaxy that was just created by the black hole and baby Lumas, everyone exists on the same planet. The cycle has been restarted, but with the small difference of everyone sharing a planet. You see? Let me put it a different way. True loyal theorists watching this show will remember long ago when I covered the Zelda timeline. There, you had a parallel series of multiverses, each with a small tweak. Link survives in this timeline, dies in this one, and never exists in the third. It would seem Mario's world believes in something similar. Think about it like hitting the reset button on your old NES.
Okay, so basically, it just started another timeline, I guess. That's what it sounds like. And I guess if that were to happen, then Peach would never have died. Maybe that's one of the things. I guess that makes sense.
Is that a reference that anyone even gets at this point? Anyway, the old NES had a reset button. Just go with me here. So you want to fire up a game of Super Mario Brothers on your NES. You hit the power button, the screen flickers, you have to eject cartridge, blow in it, reinsert it, push it down, and you hit the power button again, and there you go, the game starts. Now imagine you hit the reset button and start up the game again, but this time the blocks are arranged in a different way, and Goombas and Koopas are showing up in weird locations. Hit the reset button again, and again, a new arrangement of the same core pieces. Mario Galaxy is basically working under the philosophy of the galaxy resetting itself, remixing itself every time. Like Rosalina said, the cycle never repeats the same way. In fact, this idea explains Mario's multiple lives. How can Mario fall into a pit, die, but then have 3 more tries to get it right? It's new iterations of the galaxy each time. It's also an explanation for Mario and Bowser being mortal enemies 90% of the time and cart buddies the other 10%. Or the on-again, off-again appearance of the...
It does explain a lot. It does explain a lot if you think of it.
Koopa Kids, or where Geno and Mallow went. Please let there be a galaxy iteration where they come back. That game was so good. Okay, but how does this all explain Peach being dead? Easy. Rosalina is Peach's daughter from a previous cycle of the galaxy. Peach had a child, raised her, then died. Devastated, Rosalina flew away only to return and check on her home every 100 years, or every new cycle of the galaxy. It just so happens that the particular cycle featured in this game is
when Peach is alive.
one in which she gets roped into the action. Does this seem too metaphysical or too deep? It shouldn't, because it's the core belief of the game. Anyone who's played the game beyond the Mario missions and has gone through it with Luigi has seen the proof for themselves. With Mario, you have the Rescue Luigi missions, where your clumsy brother gets himself trapped and you need to save him. Great, nothing unusual there. But when you play the game with Luigi and get to those missions again, you expect to be saving Mario only to find that, nope, you're still saving Luigi. It's awkward. The explanation given for this is, well, I guess there's enough people in the universe for one person to look like me. Except what's really going on here is that you're meeting a version of Luigi from a different cycle of the galaxy. If nothing else, this encounter shows that Super Mario Galaxy is a title that bends metaphysical rules. Okay,
Those are the best games. The ones that like mess with your mind, kind of like that. I love those kinds of games.
if Rosalina and Luigi 2 are from previous cycles of the galaxy,
Also, him without a mustache looks absolutely crazy. I do not like it. And I don't even like people with mustaches look bad, unless you have like a beard as well. But I think I prefer Luigi with a mustache, because it does not look like Luigi without a mustache.
how are they so young? How can Rosalina look the same age as Peach if they're mother and daughter? And how can Rosalina revisit her home planet every 100 years or more if she's a normal human with a normal human lifespan? Huh, come on, it doesn't take an Einstein to figure that one out. Well, actually it does. Or at least it did. In 1905, Albert Einstein proposed a theory.
That's what he looked like when he was younger? He actually looks sane. I mean, the pictures that you just showed when he was older, those are like the most known pictures. and you look crazy in them.
A scientific theory called special relativity. You know E equals mc squared, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared? Yeah, that's a part of it. It's incredibly complicated stuff, but suffice it to say, it completely changed the course of physics and answered a lot of scientists' lingering questions around time, space, and light. It also, believe it or not, answers how Rosalina and Peach can be practically the same age. One of the consequences of his theory was the concept of time dilation, or the fact that time slows with motion. The faster you move, the more difference occurs, and at speeds close to the speed of light, time practically stops. It sounds crazy, but it's been proven. 2 synchronized atomic clocks were tested. One clock was kept on Earth, while another one was put into a high-speed plane and flown around for a while. When the plane returned, the clock was behind by exactly the amount Einstein's equations predicted. But when they resynchronized the clocks on Earth, they were still running at exactly the same rate. In other words, time had passed slower on the plane because of how fast it was traveling.
Yeah, there's actually an astronaut, I believe it's a Russian astronaut, who spent so much time in space at like high speeds or whatever that he is, I think, like 1 second younger than if he had never gone to space or something like that, which makes no sense. But he's like, you know, the time for him was 1 second slower because of doing all this stuff, which doesn't seem worth it in the end.
Traveling, time had dilated or expanded. In other words, time travel is proven to be a real thing. Now look at Rosalina's ship. It travels between galaxies at speeds approaching the speed of light. So for her, time moves much slower relative to the time on—
Wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. That would mean that Peach would be older than her, because I'm so freaking confused now.
On Earth. In fact, using an online time dilation calculator, I was able to conclude that 1 year aboard her ship traveling slightly under the speed of light would actually be the equivalent of 100 years of Earth time. So say Rosalina is 20, that's 2,000 years worth of Earth time, and that's a conservative estimate. Einstein, truly you have given the world many great gifts, but none compare with your most recent contribution to society. Proof that fictional characters are related. But enough science, let's get back to the lore. Did you ever notice that Rosalina never refers to Peach by name? She always calls her Mario's special one, probably because she feels awkward calling her mom by her real name. Or maybe that was the pet name Mario would use for her when they were together. Sure, it's not quite as compelling of evidence as relativistic physics, but hey, it's something. Now, if you still don't believe me, man, you really have some serious trust
No, I believe you, Matt. I think you've proven your point quite well.
issues, because I have proved this thing every way to Sunday. Lore, genetics, physics, I mean, seriously, cut me some slack here. But I'm sure there are still some of you out there who are going to say, oh, you're overthinking the game. Oh, the designers didn't plan this. Well,
I always think that. I always think that the designers don't, well, for the most part, I always think that designers don't actually think this far ahead, because it seems like an insane waste of time thinking this far ahead. But then, you know, Matt normally brings enough proof to back up his claim, so I'm just gonna take Matt at his word on this one. I think he's right.
to disprove every last doubting Wario out there, Yoshiaki Koizumi, that's about as good as I'm going to get at pronouncing that name, the writer of Rosalina's storybook, said during an interview that Rosalina was originally intended to be related to Princess Peach.
Oh.
There. Boom. Done. Of course, he didn't say how, which prompted the internet to assume that they were sisters, but we now know better. And finally, since I'm not leaving any stone unturned here, there's one last huge piece of evidence hidden in the French version of the game. That's right, we're getting international up in here. Look at the epilogue of Rosalina's story in English. She dedicates her life to the Lumas, vows to revisit Earth every 100 years, and flies away. But the French version of the story has an extra little detail worked in. Everything is about the same, except for the second to last page. It has a little bit more text worked in. Let me brush off my French here as best I can. Retournez sur ma planète bleue, bleu, bleu. My French teacher's gonna watch this and be so embarrassed. Here we go, I'm gonna make this super sexy.
J'aimerais bien, une fois tu les entends, retourner sur ma planète bleue et m'assoupir sur les genoux de mon papa et que son...
For those of you who don't know, I was actually learning French, like, I don't know, there's some app on my phone, I was learning French, and I got pretty far into it, and this was a few months ago, and then I just stopped. I'm like, what's the point? So I just stopped. I kind of regret that decision though, because I like the idea of learning a new language. I've always wanted to. Maybe I'll go back to it one day.
Oh, cette moustache qui fait sa fierté.
That was hot. French language love. So if you didn't spend 7 years learning the difference between a croque monsieur and a croque madame, you could probably figure out the following.
those look
My
good.
dad, something something, caressing his mustache. But luckily, I spent a couple years butchering the language and coupling that with the power of Google Translate. It says the following, quote, I would like once every 100 years to return back to my blue planet and doze on the knees of my father, stroking the mustache that was his pride. And what you have there, loyal theorists, cut from the English
Mustache.
version for some reason,
Mustache.
is our last piece of
Mustache. Mario's mustache.
incredibly strong evidence that Mario is Rosalina's father.
Yep.
I mean, I suppose by that logic, the father could also be Luigi, but that would be...
Oh no!
Oh, it couldn't. Same attached ears, same blue eyes, and he's left-handed,
no!
meaning the odds of Peach and Luigi having a left-handed child like Rosalina would
Are just as high?
be double. Luigi is much taller than Mario, and Rosalina is a towering figure in the Mario universe. And back in the storybook, when Rosalina is describing playing with her brother, the brother is wearing a green hat. It's subtle, sure, but if you look close enough, it's definitely included there on purpose. Then there's the telescope that belonged to Rosalina's father that she takes on her intergalactic journey and appears on the last page of her storybook. Mario is never depicted with a telescope throughout the series, but we know
Luigi
for a
is.
fact
Luigi is. I remember that.
Luigi has one. He inherited it as part of his mansion. And don't you find it a bit coincidental that when you beat Super Mario Galaxy with Luigi and all 120 stars, then collect the secret final star at the end, you're rewarded with a picture of Luigi and Rosalina, father and daughter?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, I didn't see this! That's crazy! That's crazy! Wow, that's a plot twist for the century right there.
You know, when it was referenced in the game that Rosalina and Peach were related, it was Miyamoto himself who pulled the plug on it, insisting the reference be removed. For years, we've been led to believe that Peach and Mario are gaming's it couple, but this whole cover-up would make perfect sense if Nintendo had known all along that Luigi is the one Peach ultimately ends up with. It would also explain Peach's utter lack of affection for Mario.
Yeah, it would. My goodness, that blew my mind. That freaking blew my mind.
In every game ever. But if that were to get out, it would throw everything we've ever thought about this franchise into utter chaos. Nah, it couldn't be. Could it? But hey.
It could. It freaking could. It's quite believable too. Definitely with the actual picture of, you know, with like the green hat, which would be Luigi. Mario never wears green, right? So it would have to be Luigi. I think that's crazy.
That's just a theory.
That legit blew my mind. Oh my goodness, that ending. Oh my goodness, that legit blew everything. Freaking everything. I was believing it all the way along, and then you pointed out that like two little facts, and now it makes so much more sense that Luigi could be the father, or most likely is. Man, it's freaking nuts. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. That was one friggin' plot twist if I ever seen one. But yeah, anyway, I hope you like this. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share with a friend. If you're new, subscribe to the family. And make sure you guys go subscribe to the Game Theater. So that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Boop!